Your ego is designed to keep you safe. It's a survival thing, right? And by doing that, though, it wants to keep you in the comfort zone. It wants to keep you in your safe little box. And it likes to control everything. So in this video, I want to teach you how to stop allowing your ego to control you and to start operating from your soul self. So hey guys, I'm Laura and I make videos that will awaken your awareness. So I want people to really understand their ego selves, because firstly, I don't think a lot of people actually understand that they have an ego and how it works and how it controls them. I think people are extremely unaware, and awareness is key. Like I say in my other videos, awareness is 90% of transformation. You can't change things you aren't aware of. If people aren't aware that they have an ego that's controlling them, then they can't do anything about it. So that's the whole point of this video. You need to understand that there are two versions of you. You have the ego version, and your ego is attached to your avatar body, part of having the human experience. You also have your soul self, and your soul self, which is connected to your higher self, is your true self. So your soul self is this energetic being. It's had many lives in the past. It will have many lives after this life. It is an eternal thing, and the soul decides to jump into this human avatar body, and attached to the human avatar body is the ego mind, right? The ego is the false self. We think it's our true self, but it's actually our false self. Our true self is our soul. And I think that there's a problem in society. I say that a lot in my videos. There's always these problems in society. I think we're purposely being suppressed spiritually. And I think we're purposely they want us to be disconnected from our soul, from our higher self, from God, from the spirit world. Because when we're disconnected, we are easy to control. We don't have any power, and we're just like lost little people that are being controlled by our egos, right? So it's very beneficial for you to start learning about your ego self, which is your false self. Start learning about your soul self and your higher self, which is your true self. Start getting to know both of them, and once you understand this, your life will be better. So firstly, you need to understand the ego, right? The job of the ego is simply to keep you safe. It's a survival thing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. The bad thing, in my opinion, is the lack of awareness around the ego. So I'll give you an analogy of how it's a safety thing, right? It's like a safety thing, but it has negative thinking. So you imagine back in the day when we had to go hunting for our meat, and you're out hunting and you've got to think like, we've got to be careful. There's going to be animals out here that are going to want to eat us. There's going to be lions out here that will want to maul us, So it's negative thinking, right? But it's designed to keep you safe. That's the job of the ego. So whenever you're stepping out of the comfort zone, you want to try something new, and you start getting thoughts like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can do this. That is simply your ego trying to just keep you in your safe little box. If you can understand that, then you can learn to overcome your self-doubt. If you are experiencing self-doubt, I have a video about that on my channel that you can check out and learn more about. But your self-doubt is coming from the ego, right? So when you understand that, then it's a lot easier to take action. Because whenever you're going to take action doing something new, everyone has self-doubt. It's normal. When you can understand that that is normal, then you can work with it, So even all the successful people, before they were successful, they all experienced self-doubt. It's normal. It's your ego. And you just got to push through it, not let the ego control you. Because the ego likes controlling, right? Your ego, like whenever you're trying to manifest or bring something into your life, if you're getting like desperate for this manifestation to happen, that's your ego. Your ego, because your ego likes to control. The key with manifesting is letting go and detaching from outcome and just leaving it to the universe and trusting the universe. But the ego doesn't like that. The ego likes grasping onto things to control it. It has to go a certain way. This has to work out for me. You know what I mean? So when you can understand what the ego does, how it's controlling you, then you have the awareness, and then you can make that choice to step back from the ego and start connecting with your soul self and your higher self. Because your higher self, we all have a higher self, and our higher self, I honestly think most people are disconnected, or even if the higher self speaks to them, I don't think they have the awareness to make the connection that that's what's happening. So I think a lot of people are quite disconnected, but once you get connected with your soul self, your higher self, it comes down to like, kind of like, the way I put it is like learning the different voices. You basically have two versions of you in your head. It's the same voice. Obviously, you're not schizophrenic and hearing different voices. It's your voice in your head, but it's like two perspectives. Imagine like those cartoons where they had the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other. That is pretty much how it is. The devil being the ego, the angel being the higher self. So the ego is always going to steer you wrong, because the ego wants to control, and it's like it feels like it wants to grab the universe by the throat to control situations. It has to go this way rather than letting go and trusting the universe. The ego wants to control. So that's your little devil, right? When you connect to the higher self, that's also like your gut instincts, your intuition, and that is always going to steer you right in life, but you have to distinguish that voice from your ego, if that makes sense. Your ego is going to be more of the negative thinking or the negative perspective, and your higher self's going to be that positive perspective, that wisdom and clarity. So for example, I've connected with my higher self many times. I was connecting with my higher self before I understood that's what I was doing, but I noticed how I'd be just puzzled thinking about something, like something's on my mind, and I'm sort of thinking about it in a negative perspective, operating from my ego. Out of nowhere, this just in my mind, out of nowhere, this positive perspective on the thing that I'm puzzled about just comes in. This clarity and this wisdom around this thing that I'm puzzled about just comes in out of nowhere, and I like shift my whole perspective to be more positive. That is when you're connecting to your higher self. That's when your higher self's coming through and guiding you. That's what you want. You want to strengthen the relationship with the higher self, because like I said, that is going to guide you the right way in life. Whatever you're wanting to achieve and do with your life, like your intuition is your inner knowing, your inner guidance, and that's connected to the higher self, right? So your intuition, if you know how to listen, it's going to steer you right. If you keep listening to the ego is going to steer you wrong. It's going to mess everything up for you. It's going to create these resistance and blocks. And so this is why I'm making this video, because you need to understand the two versions of you. Start learning which one's talking to you when it's talking to you, like getting to know the ego, understanding the ego's the one, like, stop trying to control things. Understand it comes from your ego, right? And your higher self and intuition know better, so you've got to tune in with that and listen to that, right? I hope that makes sense. So I got a little thing written up here to kind of give you a bit more of an idea on the difference between your ego and your soul self, okay? So the ego seeks to serve self. It's me, right? The soul seeks to serve others. That's the difference. Ego's me, soul is everyone else. Ego seeks outer recognition. The soul seeks inner authenticity. The ego sees life as a competition. So if you're out in the world and you're like judging yourself against your friends and your family and where you're at life and where they're at life, that's coming from the ego. Your soul sees life as a gift. Doesn't matter what other people have going on. It's just the fact that you're alive is a gift. Ego seeks to preserve itself. Soul seeks to preserve others. Ego looks outwards. Soul looks inwards. Ego feels lack. Soul feels abundance. So abundance is key when it comes to manifesting and creating the reality you want. If you're operating from the ego and you're feeling this lack in your life, lack is what creates the blocks. Lack stops the things from being able to come in. So that's when you're operating from the ego. So you want to be like the soul and be in the abundant state. So ego is mortal. So your ego goes when you leave the body, when your body dies. Soul is eternal. Soul is a forever thing. You're an energetic being. It cannot be created or destroyed. It simply transforms to something else. Your ego is drawn to lust. Your soul is drawn to love. Ego seeks wisdom. Soul is wisdom. Ego enjoys the prize. Soul enjoys the journey. That's kind of like if you're working towards something, the soul is what enjoys the process of getting there. The ego wants the money or the houses and the cars that it gets, if that makes sense. So the soul prefers like just being in the process of it all. Was it? What am I up to? Oh yeah, the last one must be. Ego is cause to pain. Soul is cause of healing. So this is what I mean. There's two versions of you, and it's very beneficial for you to understand both these sides of yourself. And because like I said, your ego is always going to steer you wrong. And I think most people are unaware about their ego and how it operates, so they operate from the ego and they're in a way a victim to it. You need to work on your connection with the higher self and strengthen your intuition so that whenever you want to succeed in life, if you know how to listen to that, it will steer you down the path of success. So stop allowing your ego to control. Whenever you're comparing yourself to your friends and family and what they've got in their life, like maybe they're doing better off, they've got flashy houses and cars, and you're comparing and you're like, oh, I just want to be more successful. Understand that's all operating from your ego and it's going to get you nowhere. Now, if you want to know how can I strengthen my relationship with my higher self, I actually have a video already on that, on how to connect with your higher self. I'm going to link it at the end of this video so you can learn more, because like I said, it's beneficial for you. It's going to steer you the right way in life. The more tuned in, the more it's going to speak to you. And honestly, I love it when I connect with my higher self, because yeah, you get this amazing positive and clarity, but it's also like you feel connected to like a higher vibration, to like, you know, light energy. You feel really good inside when you do connect and that information's coming through. So the more you strengthen that relationship, the more tuned in you are, the more your higher self's going to keep talking to you. So your higher self can only guide you if you're open to its guidance. So I highly recommend checking out that video on connecting with your higher self and working on that relationship. It's going to serve you so well in life. I hope you like this video, guys. If you did, give me a thumbs up or write a comment. And if you like this sort of content, then subscribe and hit the bell notification, because I make daily videos on my channel. No, I don't. Not anymore. I'm dropping down to 5. Sorry. I normally was making daily videos, but I've decided to drop down to 5 times a week because I wanted to just free up a couple of days so I can, I want to free up a couple of days to do more shorts, reels, and TikToks, because they reach more people, they get more views, but I haven't really had much time to do them because I've been pumping out a YouTube video every day and they're not really reaching people. So I've decided I'm going to, instead of going daily, I'm going to do 5 videos on YouTube a week, and as well as doing shorts, reels, and TikToks. So if you've got TikTok or Instagram, go follow me over there as well so you can see my reels and stuff. And yeah, subscribe and hit that bell notification. I hope I see you on the next video. Peace.